Ryan, in sort of a last ditch effort to like make something happen with the band, was like, okay, I'm going to tweet the link out to 1,000 celebrities. It's Selena Gomez. Here's a link. And the very last person needed was Sia. And she ended up right away. She wrote back to us and she was like, I love this song. Come meet me in my hotel this weekend in New York. We got to the hotel. It in fact was her. She was like, I want to introduce you to people in the industry. I think this is a hit song.
Hi, listeners, watchers, growers, grown-ups, little kids, whoever is listening right now. Welcome back to the pod. We're here another week. Growing up. God bless. Am I right? Today in the studio, I'm very excited. First of all, first time I've had this many people on the pod and this many people to interview. But I have a really amazing band who just dropped their 5th record and who grew up as Neds Declassified fans. So I always love that. They are brothers. They are musicians. They're very talented. Yeah, I'm happy to have you guys here. AJR, hi.
Hello. Hey. Hello. Thanks for having us.
Hey, thanks for being here.
Yeah.
AJR, is that your guys' names?
Yes, it is.
That's right.
It's Adam, Jack, and Ryan over here.
Who's the oldest? Who's the youngest? What's happening?
I'm the oldest.
Middle, youngest.
Cool.
Yep. Have you've had 2 people here before or just
I've had 2. We've had a 3-way on here before, but never a 4-way. So hey guys.
get crazy.
It's gonna get a little
We're all
crazy.
going to be talking at the exact same time at all times.
Honestly, before you guys came in, I was like thinking about that. I'm like, how is this gonna go? I feel like you guys are used to it by now though, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not too bad.
Yeah, they just let you, the baby, do all the talking, right? The
I
little
always say
brother,
closest to the...
big little brother energy.
Pretty much.
That's me too.
So does everyone feel like they're already friends with you? Do you feel like that just from Neds?
Yes.
I'm getting that energy. Like,
Dude, my whole life.
really?
Yeah.
Like, we're already buddies. We could just skip the part of meeting each other.
Yeah, dude, it's such a strange thing because like Ned was everybody's friend and because I talk to you through the camera,
Yeah.
like everyone does feel like they actually know me. And like we're already far along in our relationship, which most of the time in my life, that's actually like a really cool thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it's kind of really cool that people feel that trust and like that safe and that kind of like childhood friendship.
Yeah.
So most of the time it's cool. Some of the time it's like, yeah, but you don't know me. So fucking chill out, please.
What, people coming on too strong?
Yeah, people being like a little too familiar with me. And
Right,
I'm like,
it's not a natural progression of a relationship.
exactly. I'm like, I'm a stranger, you know? As long as they have self-awareness, cool. But I'm sure you guys have met fans who don't.
Yeah. No, there definitely are some fans who really want to like meet us for the first time and just really want to escalate and be like, and maybe start like insulting us and be
Yeah,
like, we're
the
good enough
roasting.
friends to be insulting each other already. Like,
That.
yeah. So that's the same thing.
Like too
Yeah.
familiar. Like No, we can be nice.
Yeah.
But don't start joking around with me like that. Yeah, like don't
Right.
like razz me. That's for people who know me, buddy.
Right. There's a natural progression of relationship, or else like how do you don't even know what's real anymore?
Yeah.
Right. Like what a normal friend is. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's a strange the Neds journey, you know. It's ever ongoing, you know. In my 30s now, and Neds is still a huge part of my life. I never would have guessed that, but I'm not mad at it. And honestly, the flip side of like people being so familiar with me and like feeling so good, like it's nothing but love, man. When I
Yeah.
meet people, like it's so positive.
Totally.
Well, it was such a unique show in that it was just the most applicable to life ever.
Yeah.
It was different than the other ones on at the time because it was like I watched it and then I thought about it the next day in school.
Right.
Yeah.
It kind of accomplished what it wanted to accomplish.
Yes.
I thought about moments where I actually used the tips.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And, like,
Totally.
Yeah, it was kind of one of a kind in that way.
Yeah.
It felt like almost like the black sheep of Nickelodeon a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
we
It wasn't
felt
the
that way.
Drake and Josh, the
Yeah.
101 formula.
Yeah.
You felt like that?
Why,
Yeah.
how did you feel?
No, it felt like that. Like we weren't Drake and Josh, we weren't Zoe 101, we weren't Emma Roberts. Like we were like the weird
Underdog.
cartoony underdog
Yeah.
show. Like it just kind of felt that way. I think we got like less budgets than they did. I don't know that that's true, but it felt like that.
But that's also what made, that was like apparent. I don't know if that was like a choice, but that's what made the show hilarious.
You're saying our low budget was apparent?
No, it's
Son of a bitch.
I'm gonna give you an example. Like when, and we were big fans. Like when a dummy would like drop,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it was
yeah.
so clearly not a person.
Yes.
Was that a creative choice or was that a budget thing?
I think it was
like,
both.
okay,
I think it was both.
because that's what made that amazing, right?
Yes.
It's like what made the show
Yeah.
so charming.
Yeah, we've been doing the rewatch for the the Neds pod and like I had forgotten about that. Like when the dummy's on the back of Matt Hoffman and the legs are just like
there's just no legs in the pants.
Yeah, there's no knees. It's just flopping around. I'm like, that makes me laugh now as an adult. Like I love this choice.
Yeah.
No, but it's like it's the charm that home videos give you, or just like an amateur skateboard video kind of gives you.
Yeah.
Obviously not to that degree, but that's why it felt kind of like a cool break from the other shows.
Yeah. It was its own tone. That's Scott Fellows who created it. Like it was just its own tone. And the biggest thing was it was the pure intention of actually wanting to help the viewer. And make them feel like a lot of shows don't have that. It's like secondary, you know, like on a very special episode of
Right.
They do the one episode where it kind of talks really to the audience about a serious issue. Like Ned's the entire time had that genuine intention of wanting you guys to watch it and think about it and feel less alone and feel like life's a little more accessible even when it feels hard, you know?
Yeah.
Totally.
I feel like the show was such a success, like probably a lot because of you, but also just because of that character. It's just so likable. You wanted that character at your school.
Exactly.
Crafted the perfect little kid.
He was the everyman, the every kid.
Right. Like wasn't like he did want to do well in school, but he couldn't quite get there.
Yeah, totally. Good intention.
Yeah, totally like pure. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what's weirdly lined up with my life, man. It's like I kind of was that way. Like, I mean, I was good in school, but I was also just like friends with everyone and wanted everyone. I don't know. I've always kind of had that thing where I want everyone to do well. And just like, if someone comes to me with a problem, like I care. Like if someone comes to me suffering or hurting in any way, like I genuinely care. I'm like, oh, hey, let's just like connect on this for a minute and like let you know like it's okay. That makes sense.
And that was even before the show.
Yeah. Kind of like lined up. And then as I got older and like developed as a human, like realizing that I ended up on a TV show that had that character and that heart to it. And then like as I grew up, I really was becoming that. It was such a strange kind of mystical fucking thing to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. I guess you're also a combination of the people you surround yourself with. So I don't know their names, sorry, but Mose and
Daniel and Lindsay.
Daniel and Lindsay. I wonder if their personalities also like kind of molded you into who Ned turned out to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Strange, man. Yeah. We're reconnecting now in our 30s and it's a blast. It's
That's
like
so
a beautiful
cool.
thing. Here's what's up. We all are probably using crappy little razors that aren't made well, that you have to replace all the time. And the thing is, they're cheap materials, but they're not cheap to buy. For me, I get razor burn, I get nicks. I don't enjoy it. So if you are looking to upgrade your razor game, and even if you're thinking, nah, do I really need that? You do. You do. You need to make the switch because I did, and I'm thrilled with it. Let's hear more about Henson Shaving. Look at this thing. You can't see it, but it's beautiful and it has an incredible feel to it. Shaving with it is amazing. It's a beautiful engineered razor. And once you have the actual razor, it's only going to cost you $3 to $5 per year to replace the blades. So this is it. This is your razor for life. Instead of having to constantly replace and throw out and get those expensive different head cartridges and all that. Nah, it's time to say no to subscriptions and yes to a razor that'll last you a lifetime. Visit hensonshaving.com/growingup to pick the razor for you and use code growingup and you'll get 2 years worth of blades free with your razor. Just make sure to add them to your cart. That's 100 free blades when you head to hensonshaving.com/growingup and use code growingup. That's crazy. Like I'll have this forever now. Wild. Okay, guys, back to our show.
Cool.
Where did you guys grow up? Where were you watching, Neds?
New York City, born and raised.
New York City, not Westchester.
No.
Is that what you found?
No.
No.
I was just
picked a spot.
He was making sure I wasn't like bullshit.
Yeah,
New
I was
York.
he said city, and I was just
Not
making sure.
What website
Not
were you on, bud?
Connecticut,
Yeah, I checked a fan fiction website, funny enough.
I was just making sure you weren't repping the city, and really you're from the suburbs.
No, born in Manhattan, raised in, I was in Queens for like a few years and then Manhattan.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. How is it growing up in the big city.
It was great. We started off street performing. So that's all because of New York City. We just probably wouldn't have been a band if it wasn't for New York City. We just went out into Washington Square Park and we just started playing songs and we used to tap dance and stuff. And then we made enough money to buy all of our recording equipment. And then
Through busking?
Yeah.
We didn't know anybody in the
Imagine
You guys are the dream.
I was like 7 at the time. So now imagine like a 7-year-old street performing. You would probably give them money.
I'd give you a little bit
There
of
we
money.
go. That's
a little
why.
high five.
That's why we were able to afford, instruments and a high five. Yeah, I would have taken the high five.
Good job, buddy.
Yeah.
Here's $1.
Yeah. Yeah. No, so New York's been really important to us in that way. And it gets a really bad rap, rightfully so in a lot of ways. There's some really, dangerous, scary aspects, but there's just like, there's no place like it. It's just the homiest, coziest. It just teaches you, kind of makes you grow up really fast, I guess. Like we're riding the subway at age 10 alone and you just kind of, that's what has to be done.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
There's a lot of parents who like couldn't imagine that, like sending their kids out just into New York on the subway. But I get it. You got to get to school or you got to
We have to
out.
go.
Like,
They can't take us. We got to get there. Yeah.
I love New York for that because I've been in LA since I was a kid and like I love LA. I love it here. I'm going to live here for most of my life. But for everything LA has going for it, even though it's so big and I have so much community here, it's a city of isolated little bubbles because of our cars. Like because there's no public transit, I'm driving A to B every time, get in, see some people. Like Raimi, my producer here, we live 2 minutes away from each other, but we don't carpool here because I got to go somewhere else after and she's got to carpool somewhere. And it's an hour drive and we're not driving together, even though we're leaving from the same place and coming to the same place. Yeah. So we're all like in our own heads and worlds, I find in LA. When I go to New York, I love it. I actually feel so free because as soon as I walk out at the door, I'm in the entire city. Totally. On my feet, I'm in the city.
That's a great...
I'm with every person.
True friendships are really formed like on the street in New York. Yeah. Like watching crazy things happen and riding the subway and rap
seeing
battling
some other crazy things.
Like idiots like on the street and like being out at 2 a.m. with friends. That's kind of where the real moments happen, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, because life can happen to you in New York. In LA, I think you have to find it. Like you have to know where you're going.
Right, totally.
In New York, you can just be walking and some shit's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna,
my night.
You're gonna stumble upon life. And I think that's a really good thing for a lot of people. And it makes sense why it would kind of like grow you up pretty fast.
Yeah. Yeah, it really did.
Yeah. We were also all child actors.
Really?
Trying to be. Yeah.
We were, that's
actually
we
did okay for a little
Fellas.
while.
I did not amazing, but I was booking some stuff.
Yeah?
Yeah. I booked.
All right.
I booked.
Let's break out the resumes, Devon.
Let's see your
Kmart
childhood
commercial.
headshot. Come on.
The headshots? Yeah.
Let's go.
It mainly like commercials and Law and Order and stuff like that like kids get.
Amazing though.
But
we didn't like it at all.
it was no, truly.
Acting was not for us.
Truly hated it.
Yeah.
Why?
I just did not like it. I very quickly realized I was so jealous of the people behind the camera, not even necessarily to do their jobs, just that they got to wear their own clothing.
That they were free.
I think getting in the fitting like that you would do before the shoot.
Yeah.
It was just the worst moment of my life. I was just like, I don't want to wear any of this. I feel cold and like I want to get back in my original clothing. And it was just like, be someone else for the day.
Yeah.
And that's not what I wanted to do.
I'm going to tell you, that's healthy. That's a healthy response.
Yeah. But I mean, we have a lot of friends in the industry that were acting at that age, and some were like the born entertainers. I want to do this.
Yeah, I loved it. I've always loved it, but I get like some child actors go through some hard and strange experiences, and I get that's like a healthy response. It's like, I don't want to go and have other people dress me, tell me what to say, tell me how to say it. Right. Have your whole day kind of be around like pleasing other people through not being yourself. But I did that my entire childhood, and I'm not fucked up at all.
Did you like it? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I loved it, to be honest. I had like a great version of it. I had a great experience of it. And I know some contemporaries who did as well. We're also hearing a ton of stories where people did not, where people had kind of sketchier times on set and just through the industry. Because it makes sense. You're a kid in an adult world, like truly. When you're in the industry, it's an adult business. You're actually in the real world. So, I mean, it really comes down to your parents and who you end up on set with, like who's the creators. And I just luckily have some pretty badass parents and ended up on a Scott Fellows show.
Yeah. I'm sure it also helped you because you got to act with other kids your age, I guess.
Definitely.
Or-
Yeah, no, definitely. Because if you ended up like as a kid on a ensemble that's all adults,
Right.
you would really be in a strange place. Like Neds was fucking 20 other kids.
Yeah.
So
Right.
there actually was a very like kind of school aspect, like really felt like real school
so
at times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember being on jobs with just adults and almost feeling like I needed to be like the kid that they said, wow, I can't believe this kid's only 8. He seems like he's 18. I
prodigy,
remember trying to like name check movies that like I've seen The Exorcist, have you? And trying to like get random facts in my head just so I could like keep up with them.
Yeah.
I felt like I needed to grow really fast to get
Yeah, you're like, well,
level.
really, Kubrick's work is derivative of...
the earlier, yeah. No, I felt that a lot, and it felt super uncomfortable. I felt like I had to do this.
Yeah, it was something I did when I meet child actors now and I see them doing that thing where they're pretending to be 30.
Yeah.
It freaks me the fuck out. Even though I was that, and it was coming from a pure place. But when I meet these little actors who are talking to me like we're on the same level, and I'm like, no,
Just be a kid.
you're 13.
Scary. Yeah.
You know nothing about anything. Like, don't talk to me like we're on the same level, man. Freaks me out.
I don't know if
Are you
have
seeing
kids.
a 13-year-old in the room right now? Where are they?
Sorry, man.
Sorry, Adam, go.
Non-flashback.
So I don't know if you have kids,
I
but
don't.
if someday you do,
Yeah.
would you recommend that they don't go into acting?
Yes.
Or would you push? You would recommend that they don't?
Yeah. I would.
Even though you like your experience
even
so
though
much.
I love my life, even though I love my life and how it went, I would encourage all of their creative expression and passions and like honing those things. But I don't think I would want them to go into the industry side of it until they were 18. It's just not necessary. That's how I feel. Even though, again, my life, I wouldn't change it. I'm so glad my parents saw like I was a weird little actor boy and they were like, want to go do that? And kept like providing me with the opportunity to do it. Like I wouldn't change that. And I had such cool experiences because of that other kids wouldn't have had.
Totally. And I feel the same about music. And obviously they might have different feelings, but none of us have kids. But if I have kids, I would say like I would want them to do music.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want them to really jump into the industry side of it until at least 16 to 18, something like that. Like really develop who they are as a person before they go out and are such an informative place.
Exactly. Because where industry meets art, it's fucking turbulent, man. It's turbulent inside ourselves. Like it's hard to be creative. It's such a pure energy. It's such a pure thing. But when you get into the industry of art, it gets wonky. So you got to have some sense of self.
Yeah, because so much of that art and making art that you can feel proud of is when you figure out who you are as a person, then you can put that into the art.
Yeah.
And if it's being so informed by everything else around you to an extent that it's not really you anymore, then what are you really growing up at that point?
Exactly. And when you're a kid, you're naturally in that time, you're already going to be influenced by like your high school and what people think of you. That's the process of being an adolescent, is like you are forming your individual self. And at that time, you're influenced by the outside. So let that be a shitty high school and not like an industry of adults turning you into a commodity and like telling you to change your art for arbitrary reasons, nah, not at that age. So yeah, I'm with you. But I will I will force my children to learn instruments. Like I will force them to play music.
Right.
Yeah. Because
even if they're screaming, I don't want to do it, you're going to do it.
Yeah, that's one thing I know I will do because as I've gotten older, like I'm so glad I play guitar. It is just the gift that keeps on giving to my life, not just how I interact with other people, but how I process things and express things myself. And there were times, I started learning guitar like any 12-year-old kid to like, girls will like this, Wonderwall. And now it's like such a deep part of my being. So I will force my children to play instruments.
Got it. Nice.
Yeah. I wish I was forced to learn piano.
Yeah.
Piano's all right there. The scale goes up.
You were forced, and that's why you hated it.
I
and
hated
then
it.
you learned it on your own and then loved it.
Stopped for a while and then came back learning Billy Joel and Elton John and stuff I actually cared about.
There you go.
Yeah.
They tried you on classical and you were like, boring.
Yeah. I wanted to figure it out on my own, I think.
That kind of happened to me with guitar. It was like I took lessons like early and like hated it and quit. And they were just the boring like rote scales. Took lessons, hated it. And then when I got on Neds, actually, there was like some people who played, some adults on set who played. And rather than teaching me like starting with boring scales, they like started with like, what song do you want to learn? I'm gonna teach you chords and let's learn a song.
Can I be annoying? There's literally an episode of Neds that's the plot of it. Literally, when you want to learn guitar and your music teacher's like making you do the scales
with Everclear, with
and
art.
then he's like, and then he is in the band and he's like, see what happens when you learn scales. You remember that?
About that.
Did you think that was a memory, but it was an episode?
I thought in all
it's
seriousness,
real. Like, that actually happened in my life.
Oh, you're talking to him. In all seriousness, I thought he was going to go, and then they wrote a Neds episode based on it, but he literally just described the plot of a Neds episode.
I forget the Neds episodes because it's been so long. See,
I'll remind you.
This is the crazy mystical Neds thing that I'm talking about. Because no, that was real to my life.
That's literally when you were like, he was trying to teach the scales. You literally in the show are just like, I really have to do scales, and it's like that's how you get good.
God, yeah, it's with the lead singer of Everclear.
Yeah,
man.
exactly. Yeah.
Wow, sick, man.
That'll be my last Neds rep.
My life's a movie. well, a childhood TV show.
A TV show.
That's so cool, man. Yeah, so I'm gonna force my children to play music.
Good.
That's how it's gonna go. How did you guys how did it go from busking in New York at 7?
Yeah, that's when we started.
To records and big boy tours.
Yeah, it was okay. So we made enough money to buy like a Pro Tools setup and like a basic cheap keyboard and like a ukulele. Spent, I'm gonna get the timeline wrong, but 7 or 8 years trying to write original songs that were just obviously started out horrendous and then got just slightly better, but not much. It was like 8 years of that, which is kind of what you have to do.
Yep.
And then eventually we wrote a song called I'm Ready, and that was like 10 years ago. And it was like a SpongeBob sample song. And
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Right.
bingo. And then we made this cheap music video for it, and it had like, 1 view. And then Ryan and Adam were in a college class, and Ryan, in sort of a last ditch effort to like make something happen with the band, was like, okay, I'm going to tweet the link out to 1,000 celebrities.
Yeah.
Hi, it's Selena Gomez. Here's a link. You might like this, whatever. And the very last person he did was Sia, the artist. And she ended up right away, she retweeted it and she wrote back to us and she was like, I love this song. Come meet me in my hotel this weekend in New York, which is really weird. But we were like, this could be a disaster. It could be not her, but we're gonna do it because we have nothing else going on. We got to the hotel. It in fact was her. She came out of the hotel. She was. I'm Sia. Like it's like a man. Yeah. It's a man dressed up as Sia.
Give me a hug.
All right.
Come here, boys. Give me a hug.
So you like the song? Okay. Yeah, we would have done it. No. Anyway, she literally came out of the hotel. She was like singing the song, and we went to lunch. She was like, "I want to introduce you to people in the industry. I think this is a hit song." So she got us hooked up with. We met with a couple labels, and then finally we met with this guy Steve, who ended up being our manager, who's still our manager today for the last 10 years.
Dude.
And then it was kind of that got really successful on the radio, and then a little bit more of the story is when basically after that ended, our career kind of stalled for 2 years. No one knew who we were. I'm Ready did nothing for the name of the band. It was like a platinum song on its own.
Yeah.
No one came to see us live. So we sat down and had a really serious talk of, okay, wait a sec. We have something here, but what is this band?
Yeah.
And then we wrote our song Weak. And we were like, we're going to be the kind of overly personal, self-deprecating kind of lyrical band.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's a niche that's not really being filled now in modern pop music. And we wrote Weak, and it got really big. And that's when fans kind of started coming in going, now you're someone I can relate to. And you're saying what I'm thinking. And it was really just a matter of us saying exactly what we were feeling in music. That was the key, which is something they teach you a million times. We should have just done it. But, and then we started being able to tour, and it kind of went from there.
Wow, man. That's you guys like have like a dream story.
It was just...
That's insane.
Yeah, many years and then just one instance of luck with her seeing that tweet.
Right, of something organic and some weird bravery or idea to tweet at celebrities.
Yeah.
You said you would be done after that,
Honestly,
right?
we were about to
like,
give
this
up.
Is the last thing we're going to do.
It was getting kind of embarrassing. And yeah, it was that one moment of luck and then just a crazy amount of no luck and just work before and after that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I love that. I love knowing how like all of our creative journeys, they really are like specific. It's always unique. I love hearing it because it takes luck.
Yeah.
None of us get any level of anything without luck playing a part, but then also like preparation for sure. Also working and dreaming and manifesting and wanting it.
Yeah, but it's also luck with just how many people are doing it, right? Are also doing it. Like we're one of millions of musicians,
saturated.
right? Yeah. And how fast life moves now to the next thing, to the next one, to the next one. Give me a 4-second pitch on a song before I move to the next one. It's like you gotta fill that, really quick.
Yeah. And 5 albums deep. That's impressive because there's also that like people's attention spans are moving very quickly and people are moving on to whatever's new to them. So
it's crazy,
trying to stay
especially now
people.
Like music, comedy, political stuff, it's all kind of the same category now. It's all, I hate this word, but it's all considered content on TikTok or whatever.
It's the word now, right? We got to get used
to it.
Can I do this while I say content?
No, that makes you seem annoying.
Okay.
That makes you seem 50 years older. You just aged way up.
You're the oldest brother now.
Yeah, you are. Yep.
But it's like, I think songwriting has really changed for us too. It's like, how fast can you grab people? Maybe it's good. Like maybe people got to be 10 times more creative to catch people's attention, but we'll see.
I did listen. Is the single, was it I'm a Mess?
Yes, I'm a Mess.
Yes, I'm a Mess. That will be that's on the record?
That's on the album. That's
so I listened to that because that's what's out right now. And it did grab me very quickly. So you guys have honed it. I was in lyrically and just the sound.
Thank you.
Who whistled it?
Who did do that? That was you, right?
Yeah, with a lot of auto-tuning in there.
Okay. You're gonna have to pull that whistle out live or what?
Watch this.
You see, that's just the magic of autotune and
with a little tuning.
And I guess going on YouTube and taking a whistle sample and dragging it over Ryan's take. Yeah. I don't know what that was.
Listeners at home, check out Yes, I'm a Mess. It's like a great track. And there's this whistle melody like throughout it. I was wondering, are you going to have to be that good at whistling live?
Good question.
You're going to have to be Andrew Bird.
We got to figure that out. Yeah.
The Andrew Bird, I don't know if we can get to that level, but
he does it live. I've heard it. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's too much control.
That's a lot of control.
Yeah, I can't
That's
do
the bird
that.
control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your guys' instruments?
I play guitar and I sing. I'm a lead singer.
Yeah, I know, and I produce.
And I play the bass.
Sweet. Who drums?
We have a drummer and a trumpet player that tour with us.
And a violinist.
Like a backup band.
And a violinist.
Now a violinist.
Newly,
New addition.
Dope. And you produce.
I do produce, yeah. Do you produce too?
I have started. So I have a new project out called Good Valley. For years I did singer-songwriter stuff just under my name, just acoustic boy,
Cool.
Emotional acoustic boy.
Cool.
And then over the last 2 years I wanted to do something different that was more to actually my taste, more to what I listen to, which is like electronic and like Cuddy and I don't know, like James Blake-ish.
Cool.
So went in that direction and started producing to do that because I didn't know how to find the sounds I was hearing in my head.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to communicate that yet.
Right.
So I explored a bunch on my own, brought it to a producer friend of mine, and then we collaborated on this thing.
Love it. What are you on? Logic?
Logic, yeah. Logic was made sense, coming
The
from
logical choice.
It was the logical choice.
Mhm.
Coming from GarageBand, Logic made sense,
Just an upgrade. Yeah, definitely.
And fuck Pro Tools.
Oh, that's what I'm on though.
You've hurt the man.
I'm sorry.
You've insulted the man.
No, that's because you're talented and you obviously have some technical ability. I can't with Pro Tools.
He's trying to save it.
He wears glasses. Yeah.
No, I say it for me because Logic is enough complication for me. Pro Tools breaks my brain.
Logic is way more intuitive. I totally
That's what I
understand.
mean.
Yeah. I think for the more live instrument stuff that we do, Pro Tools might be better.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, Logic has an intuitive thing. A lot of what I produced all my old stuff on with a buddy of mine, he produced on Pro Tools, and none of it was ever intuitive to me. It always intimidated me.
Yeah.
I've been looking over his shoulder for 18 years, and I know it's command space to start recording. That's all.
What I'm saying.
Is it even? Like that?
Yeah,
that's
what I'm saying. Logic makes sense. I watch and I learn things even watching someone else on it, but Pro Tools, I'm I don't want to touch that.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Apple has just figured out how to make everything intuitive.
I know.
Even now with the watch that you do that, it's just of course, why weren't we doing that the whole time? That's to maybe pick up a call or to press play or something. You're now just doing it with your fingers.
And it grabs it,
and it knows.
It knows.
Maybe there's a little LiDAR camera here so it sees what you're doing.
We're really heading towards Wall-E world, huh?
Is that what they do in Wall-E?
Well, I'm just as little movement as possible, right? One step at a time, right?
Crazy.
Even this should burn at least a calorie. I feel like it's doing nothing now.
Yeah, no, I'm ready for my chair and my straw and my
just the
my
big hover
screen
chair.
and my hover chair.
You're kind of in it already.
Yeah.
And just to your 24-hour podcast. Just wrapped. And while you're sleeping, you're just snoring into it.
It's an ASMR podcast while you sleep.
Honestly, we're moving in that direction of just 24 hours
There
streaming.
are people who do this, right?
Yes,
I've
like
seen
Twitch.
this before.
They're on Twitch just permanently. They sleep on it and they make money somehow.
Where's the money coming? Is a fans
From people
donating?
Yep.
Wow.
I think most of the people donating to Twitch streamers, it has to be a woman Twitch streamer sleeping. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just gonna say it's some creeps. But hey, cash in, man. Cash in.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could do a brand deal while you're sleeping and just put it on your eye mask or something like
Pretty genius.
We're all moving in this direction.
Okay.
Aren't you excited? Aren't you excited for this level of content?
What is this? What is this?
Where are we? You live here now. Lock the door, Remy.
Wait, is this?
This is us now. We live here.
Are you still acting?
Yes. I mean, the strike is almost over. Please,
Right.
Lord.
Yeah.
So I will continue to act once that's over. I'll act for the rest of my life. I love it. The transition from childhood to adult actor is a journey, and a lot of people peel off. A lot of actors I know who started as kids, they peeled off into other desires, just letting go of the instability of it. And I get it. I've went through all that in my 20s of like debating, am I still doing this? Am I still doing this? And then just finally hit a point where I was like, yes, I love this forever.
Wow.
So I'll continue to pursue it.
Yeah.
Thank God for podcasts to give me like stuff to do when I'm not in the meantime, because there's a lot of in the meantime.
Yeah.
What's your dream role?
I don't know that there is a dream role, man.
Or dream director to work with? Or
Yeah, I mean, Paul Thomas Anderson, Spike Jones. I don't know. There's a lot, man. But really, it's just like, I just want to keep working and have it keep unfolding in my life. Like every movie has changed me in some type of way. Every movie has led me to new people in my life. Like it is some weird, mystical, creative thing that I just love doing. The industry of it is whatever it is, but like, I just want to keep on the ride, man. I want to stay in the circus. I like it too much.
yeah, you feel like you have to do it.
Yeah, it's just a calling. Like I love it.
Right.
I'm rarely happier than when I'm on a set.
Wow.
Yeah, like I feel like sometimes if we ever quit music down the road at some point, I feel like I wouldn't be able to do it because I'd be wondering what would now, if I was doing music, would the next album be the one? Like would this be the biggest of my career? Like I feel like I'd be wondering, or like, am I gonna miss the next insane phase of music that I'm not gonna be a part of it? I feel like there's so many factors that could change if I just go, oh, I'm not gonna do this anymore. We don't have a plan to do that whatsoever, but if we ever did.
But it's a good feeling to feel like I was put on earth for this reason.
Totally.
That's how we feel about like songwriting and touring and stuff.
And it's not a feeling that a lot of people have.
I know,
We have tons of our closest friends who are like, maybe I'll try this. I haven't found something yet that I'm just really drawn to. Or
Facts.
Yeah.
I know I have so many friends, and I feel my sister I talked to about, like, she never had, I've had the acting thing since I was a kid. And then like music is a part of it now too. And like, it's just, I have to create, I have to do this. I feel for my friends and family who like, I get it. They're like, I don't know. I don't feel called to anything.
Wow.
Yeah, that feels like a harder place to be, even though they have to be freer in some way, because also pursuing what we pursue comes with its own like insanity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you put that as your main value, there's also no end goal. You could always be a bigger musician, always be a bigger actor.
Because of that, there's like an eternal dissatisfaction to pursuing creative
Totally.
endeavors.
My fiance's mom is like the most satisfied person I've ever met. She just like lives in a small place in Connecticut. Like she's just like so proud of who her kids
You're
are.
from Connecticut.
No.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You so don't want us to be from New York.
But like when you're surrounded by people that are so obsessed with career all the time, it's like so refreshing to be around someone that's like, I just love my family. What do you mean? I don't want anything more than this.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's so pure. Like
Yeah.
you're just living life.
Yeah.
I am constantly trying to figure out how to get these dreams out of my head and into the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the more you love it, the worse the problem is.
Oh,
it's
it's
like a
deep.
weird catch-22.
Yeah, it's deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hurts.
Would you ever consider a reboot where you three are the adults in the show and you have kids?
So previous to us doing the podcast, I pitched a reboot. Yeah. So like there was a point, all right. So there's a point post Neds, like into my 20s where like, you know, it was just like the idea of a reboot was like, no, like I'm moving past this thing. And then there was a point later into my 20s where I was like out of money and and career was far away. And I just felt like my dreams had like slipped away. And yet there's an entire generation who knows me for this thing. So I realized like, wow, I think this thing that I've been leaving in the past but is still around is actually the answer. Like this will solve the problems I'm trying to solve in my adult life. And it would be so fun to make an adulthood survival guide. Like a survival guide to your 20s. Like that would be amazing because that's where all of us are out.
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
Like real world, man, roommates, like dating, taxes, all that shit. Bad boss, like good boss, like all that. I thought like, whoa, this is actually great. Like this will solve my problems personally in life and will solve the career things and be like a win-win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
So for like 2 years, I got that going with Scott Fellows and got this whole thing going and kind of started on TikTok to build the like desire for it. And we pitched it and like, I think we had a good pitch, but for whatever reason at that time, the studio said no. And also we couldn't take it to sell it, which was like, we'll take it. Like, just let us have it.
It's their IP though.
Yeah.
It's their IP. So it was a no, and it was actually like really depressing because like I was like, I thought this was the answer. Luckily, the podcast came around and has kind of been it.
Yeah.
I don't know what will happen in the future. Like right now, the podcast is enough for me. But if they call and wanted to do a reboot, like would I say no? Probably not. I mean, that would be silly, I think. So someday, maybe.
If you needed a reimagined version of the theme song, we'd be happy to help.
We're here. Add us to your pitch.
Noted. Noted.
There's so much turnaround at those studios. I feel like you could repitch it right now to a whole new group of people, right?
Yeah.
You're not wrong. Like,
right?
Honestly, these studios turn over every 2 years. It's entirely new executives. So yeah, you're not wrong.
But also like, and I know this is getting on the business side, but like the parent company of Nickelodeon like owns a whole bunch of other streaming services too.
course.
And you could put it on so many other places that
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I know.
We doing this,
Okay.
guys? Let's get started. Did we just attach ourselves to this without his permission?
I mean, AJR doing the theme song would be rad as hell.
I'd like to
And,
cut to us in the studio, me pitching it, and you're just in the back. So here's how I see it. I got the whole thing thought out.
What's up, guys? How are you?
Yeah, I don't let you speak. No, ignore it. No, you go juice box or something.
We got everyone attached. All the originals.
Making promises I cannot keep. Oh, everyone. Yeah, everyone's in. Yeah.
Yeah, man, we'll see. We'll see where life goes. Right now, I'm like really genuinely happy, like with my creative kind of flow. It feels good, but we'll see where it goes because there's creative dreams I have and there's things I want, and like maybe a reboot's part of that. Maybe not. Maybe I don't know. Maybe the music goes somewhere. Maybe the podcast keep going somewhere. And like when acting comes back after the strike, like I have some stuff kind of lined up.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. We'll see.
I think this is the lesson we've learned in the last like year or two, even writing this album, is just like that. What you just said is maybe this will happen. Maybe this will happen. I don't know. That's the healthiest mindset because we've spent there's so and it's such a hard place to get to.
Yeah.
But just the anxiety of, okay, even though this single is currently doing well, then what about the next one? And they're going to be so mad when this is over. Our label or whoever is going to be so angry. So we have to think to this way. And it's just the most unhealthy mindset to have. And it's not a mindset that anyone else has, but like people that are really in creative, you know.
And the industry side of it. Because creative, it's just discovery. It's just fun. I don't know. We had these ideas for these songs and did it, you know, like, but when you get the expectation and what it needs to do externally, it gets real unhealthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because your brain almost like goes to the worst thing, right? Like, because if my brain's going to the worst place, it's going to be like, okay, but if as long as this single is active and known, we have fans. And the second the single ends, all our fans are gone. Right. Oh no, now we have to get them back with the next single. And that's just like not the way it works. Like I'm a big fan of some artists' albums, like their first album and not their next two, but then the next one. And that's just like, it's not as complicated as it is in my head. People aren't, you know, it's not that serious.
Exactly.
You know? It's a tough place to get to.
Yeah. What number of streams will make you want to quit music?
I know.
When does it hit where you go, am I a total failure? Even though you're 5 albums deep and gonna tour and all that, you know, it's so strange.
And everything now is so numbers based. Every post we do has to get at least 300K views or else that was a failure of a post.
Right.
It's become so micro.
Micro.
Yeah, so micro.
No, but we were just really lucky. We kind of got in there before this happened and we developed the fan base before.
That's right, yeah.
before. And we truly thank, the world and our fans literally every single day that we were able to kind of like come up when it was a little more natural before the, social media boom. And it was like the artists on radio who have the best song will be the one, sort of like the natural progression of an artist. So we're lucky that we were able to get in there.
Yeah, like hone the real fans at that point.
Yeah, we gained fans in the most natural, very slow way. Like one fan at a time. One fan tells one other person who tells one person. And it was just slow.
It's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Will you tell me about the new record and the new tour?
Yeah. So we wrote this album over the last 2 years. It was like the craziest 2 years of our life. We, a bunch of like crazy family stuff happened to us. Our dad actually got sick and passed away during the writing of this album.
Damn.
In July, he passed away. And it was like incredibly sad, but it was also like incredibly interesting of like, oh my God, there's so many new songs to write, so many new parts of your brain that turn on and go, oh my God, now I'm actually an adult. Like speaking of growing up, like what more would make you grow up and make you realize how ephemeral life can be, what's actually important, how unimportant social media likes are, and how important your legacy and how kind you are to other people are. So it just like totally changed the chemistry of all of our brains.
Yeah.
Wow, man. So sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that there you go. There's a rite of passage that all of us will face at some point. That will force us to grow up, but that's never wanted.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it made its way. It all made its way into the album because there was no other place to put the feelings.
Of course.
So it's like it feels weird that when our dad, because there's one song on the album called "God Is Really Real," and it's all about our dad getting sick, and we wrote this days after he went to the hospital before we even know what he had. It ended up being cancer. It felt weird. Like, we're really writing a song right now. Like, we should just be on the phone with him all the time or sitting there thinking about it. Like, we're really writing something. That was the therapy for us in the moment.
Exactly.
That's what we had to do. That's the only thing we knew how to do. And it's a weird feeling and a weird job to have to do your job at the lowest point in your life ever.
To have to feel that not more than uncomfortable, the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah.
Feel it 10 times as much to be able to spit out a song that will hopefully make the next person that is losing their dad feel a little bit like less alone.
Man.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah.
That's a lot, man.
Yeah. And it's so it ended up, and many other things happened too. It was kind of a 2 years of just like, because we've had a lot of ups and downs in our life, but last 2 years were primarily downs for us with social life and family, other family stuff, weird career stuff in the background, behind the scenes. And it all made its way into the album. So it ended up being by far our most personal, not dark, but just like introspective, deep, real album.
Yeah.
And we were so scared by that because like so many of our like big hit songs are these happy, we became kind of known as like the positive voice in pop and like, oh, that band, they smile and like, that sort of thing. And there are fun songs on the album, but not nearly as, I hate to use words like trivial, but it's kind of feels that way compared to what we've been going through.
Yeah.
Because that was really part of our thing for a long time. I mean, it still kind of is, but like we're gonna write songs about some really unimportant topics. We wrote a song about The Office, the TV show, in like 2016 or something, and everything it meant. And it's like an emotional song. It's like how much I crafted my life after Jim from The Office, or learned this thing from Michael from The Office, and like it's about how important a TV show actually can turn out to be. And that became our sound for a really long time. We're gonna talk about the things you never think about, like Seinfeld almost.
Right.
And now we're like, there's nothing more important than what we're talking about on this album.
Yeah, we're gonna make these things deep and meaningful. Isn't life cool? And now you have the real deep and meaningful parts of life that are.
We don't really have to.
You don't have
to extract anything.
Yeah,
you're right.
There's no magic trick. It's
you're totally right.
Yeah. Wow, that makes me even more excited to hear it, man. Like,
thank you.
That's the real stuff.
Yeah.
Life will come for us all, man.
No, really. Yeah. And it makes you just grow up. It was a lot of like, we have a due date for the album, right? So we have to be an album mode, but also we're the only ones that really can take care of our dad right now. So we got to, let's do an hour of work, switch the mindset, go to family time. It was, I know that thing will make you, I know it sounds funny, but like we aged up to kind of like a 50-year-old person, which is like the age that I hear generally when people's parents get sick on, if they are healthy and live longer. And we had to get there so quick, like I had just moved in with my girlfriend and like just sort of like taking those first, real steps. And then it was like, let's jump to a real thing.
And the specific dynamic with our dad was funny because he's like he was the nicest guy in the world, but he was also kind of lazy. So he kind of just like let the sickness happen to him. He was just like, I'm not going to walk today. Then it became our job to be like, did you walk today? Did you drink water? We literally became his parents. It was the craziest reversal.
Crazy reversal.
Life does that over time. It's so strange. Like eventually, we are taking care of our parents. You guys had it in a really like kind of concentrated version.
Right.
Yeah, this is what will happen to us all. It's so strange, man. But beautiful and weird, you kind of had a deadline on a record, so you had to express, you had to write, you had to make.
You're right, we probably wouldn't have written about this stuff if we didn't have a deadline. We're not writing.
Yeah, the grief would maybe shut it down, but because you had to, I mean, at least it keeps your heart open, you know?
Yeah.
It's like you maybe want to numb, like I maybe want to numb when grief is first happening, and I'm probably less creative if I start that track of like numbing and closing.
Right.
But when my parents were actually going through a divorce a few years ago, I was like in the middle of doing a play, and it just I did the play for 9 months, and it just forced. I had to keep my heart open. I had to keep expressing, and I had to keep feeling. And it was actually a good thing, because then it's not all getting buried in there.
You don't have to undo all of the burying you did.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it a bad divorce?
Yeah.
Or?
Sorry.
It was a rough one.
That's the worst.
It was a rough one, guys. But creativity is kind of what kept me going through.
Were you able to feel distracted on stage every night?
Yeah, but like that good, like cathartic, like not just distracted, but like in my heart, like in my feelings. So that was good. Because then I would leave the stage and like kind of need to like shut down and be numb, you know? But
you
4 shows a
quickly
weekend.
went back to the real you.
Like, yeah, but 4 shows a weekend, I had to really be open and be me. So I'm glad for that.
Wow.
And yeah, for you guys, I really hope you've had to do this record. So cool. And then I really hope the tour kind of is another level of catharsis, you know?
Yeah,
like,
this tour in particular is an interesting one for us, because our goal has always been to play arenas. And this tour, we're playing Madison Square Garden, we're playing the Forum, we're playing like,
oh my God,
isn't that crazy?
45, 50 cities in the US, arenas everywhere.
That's insane.
Starting in the park, and then even our first indoor shows, there were like 3 people that showed up. And we literally didn't skip a step over the last 12 years. We went like a show and then doubled it and then doubled it. And then finally we made it to arenas. So this is like the thing we've been working towards for 12 years. And when Ryan and Jack write, they also think about what the show is going to look like for each song. So it's really just one process now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're big Broadway fans. And so I don't know if you know anything about our show. Totally fine if you don't. But we do a lot of like...
I don't.
We do a lot of
He'd like to.
I'd like to. I want to come.
We do a lot of like magic, illusions, weird stuff on stage. It really feels like a Broadway show.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's our favorite thing ever, making the tours, honestly. So yeah, like Adam's saying, as we're writing a song, we're like, oh, you know, it'd be cool here. We'll do this crazy thing where shadows come to life here, and then we're going to do this here. We're just like little kids again.
Dude.
Yeah.
Man, I'm so excited. I really want to come to this one when you're doing the Forum.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be there at that big ass arena.
All right.
That's insane. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
What's the record called?
The Maybe Man.
The Maybe Man.
The Maybe Man. Yes.
Listeners at home, go listen to this record.
Please.
I will too. It's out not as of right now when I'm recording it with them, but it's out as of right now when you're listening to it. So I haven't heard it yet, but I will. Man, and the tour is when?
The tour starts April 2nd and goes through the beginning of August. So it's quite a bit of time on the road.
Big summer arena tour.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
This is huge.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We have to recalibrate our brains to know we hit our goal. Like, because I know as soon as the arena tour is done, we're going to be like, what's next?
We got to play the moon.
Yeah, exactly. We have to like reset to be like, okay, check off life dream. Everything else is gravy.
Yeah, there's a simple way I'd like to say that. It's like what an old acting coach told me. He's like, you got to buy yourself a cookie. And he just means that like when you hit, like oftentimes we're just striving, and you never actually just give yourself that moment to be like, hey, you did that.
Yeah.
Devon, will you buy us a cookie at the Forum?
I will buy you a cookie. I'll bring you
100% sure he didn't just mean you should go buy her? Like, were you like, he's an acting coach, so he probably means this something. But he's probably just like, you did good today. You should probably go.
He had a sweet tooth, so he meant his treat is a cookie, but whatever your cookie is, buy yourself a cookie after this tour.
Okay.
But I'm going to bring the 3 of you one cookie, and you guys can share it.
Excellent.
I love that.
Okay?
Okay.
I've loved having you on. I want to keep talking, but I think we have to stop, right?
I would stop
Dang. Okay.
mid-sentence something. Yeah.
No. I need you to leave You've dropped a ton of nuggets, but I one from each of you. I like to just leave the audience with a little piece of like what's one key to growing up.
Realizing that although it may seem like it, no one really hates you. Okay, and if they do, why on earth would you want to be friends with that person? Right. I think
love that.
That's an important lesson.
I love that.
I think that when you're young, your horizons are like this big and you're like, I could be this many things. And then as you grow up, like I'm about to turn 30, you kind of realize, oh, I could be like this many things. But there's like a real beauty in that and just like choosing what to be and going to be it.
Beautiful.
I think growing up is finding the happiness in things that you have to do in life.
Yeah. Finding the happiness and responsibility. Yeah. That's the big, I mean, that's what I talk about all the time on here. But the transition from adolescence to adulthood, I agree very much with that, is adolescence, you're trying to do everything to not be responsible. And growing up is the ongoing process of making peace with being responsible for all of it, man. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for having us. This is fun.
This was a blast.
Yeah.
I could talk for 3 more hours.
Yeah.
But we won't. Listeners at home, go check out the record. Go see them on tour. AJR, thanks for coming in.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.